Hello, my lovely audiences, my dear friends. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow on the East-West Show, the G&E TV. Caught a little cold, but I will try very hard to still do my good job. All right, how about that? With me today is my good friend Ken Hemming, a trustworthy friend tested over time.
Yes, sir.
And tested especially in the way that we argue a lot, and every time when we finish arguing, we shook hands. We're still good friends.
Absolutely.
We are even better friends,
Yeah.
probably. That's the beauty of a democracy. That's the beauty of friendship, right?
And freedom of speech.
Very good.
Yeah.
And today with him, we're touching base for about this country. And President Donald Trump is getting into his almost half year of presidency. And to me, things are getting better and better and better. I'm kind of optimistic. I would rather wish something going that way, keep on going that way, rather than getting him to criticize too much until to a point when he loses his confidence.
Right.
And sometimes when you say a lie, when repeated for 1,000 times, becomes the truth.
That's right.
What if if you called for 1,000 times, and that also becomes the truth? That's my philosophy.
Right.
My bottom, my kind of heart, right? So, Ken, welcome to the show.
Jack, I'm never happier than I'm with you and your viewers.
Very good.
And I'm feeling the joy of America right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Over the years, Ken's been with the community for kind of his steadfast devotion that I adore a lot.
Thank you.
A lot. And appreciate a lot, of course. Now, talking about home and abroad, and versus Donald Trump, we have a bunch of big stuff going on.
Big.
First, we'd like to pick his speech in Poland.
Yes, sir.
All right. So how would you comment about his Polish speech?
Well, I will say this. I watched it 3 or 4 times, just kept running it over, trying to learn all the nuances of what he was saying. And I was extremely proud of our president. He approached his speech different than many of his others during the campaign and while he's been president. And this was all about Western values and how the West must maintain its values. That includes Europe, okay? So the Western values of freedom in our Constitution, and that we're under big attack from different parts in the world. And he said we must be committed to protecting our values through NATO, through mutual cooperation, through friendship, and it was a different deal because it wasn't as America first, which we know we are and he is, but it was about protecting. It was all about values, not about America, but values of the West that have made all the countries in Europe and us, and in Poland particularly. Poland suffered hugely in World War II. And we're very close to Poland.
They suffer quite a bit from Russia.
Very much from Russia.
Quite a bit from Russia,
from
yes.
the Germans, okay? The Nazis.
Still these days, they're not getting along too well.
No, correct. But Poland is free now. And here's the thing. There were thousands of people there with President Trump's speech. One of the highlights was his wife, Melania, introduced him. And she's so classy. She's so dignified.
I personally knew the former president and the first lady of Poland. Who died in an air crash.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, who died in an air crash.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're personally friends to Chinese American Film Festival.
Wow, that's really tragic. Makes my heart warm. Okay.
Yeah, may God bless their souls.
Right.
Anyway.
And Melania just introduced him with class and dignity, which was wonderful. But you had thousands of people out there chanting, Donald Trump, USA, Donald Trump, USA. If that doesn't give you chills, well, it can.
Okay, very
good. They received us so beautifully.
While watching, I have this kind of a following feeling.
Yes, sir.
The number one, Trump has shaped himself in a better way. Do you agree or not agree with me? And number two, Trump's attitude towards NATO has been shaped a little bit too.
And NATO's attitude toward their commitment has been changed.
And are you under the same or similar impression?
You know, it's fair to ask people that have signed up for a degree of mutual protection, militarily and spiritually, and they've committed to 2% of their gross national product to help fund it. And and now we're up to maybe 8 or 9 that are doing that. Poland's one of them that's over the 2%, and Trump made a big deal out of that, of congratulating and appreciating.
Confirmed it and appreciated
it. It was great. And so, you know, it's fair. Now, Angela Merkel in Germany, where they are now today in Hamburg, you know, she kind of sort of resisted. But she's got troubles, you know. They let in 800,000 refugees in Germany.
She's too busy now.
Yeah, it's too busy.
Too busy to do anything else. So my impression was I under the right impression or was just mistaken?
I believe that he is able to work with his speechwriters and include the elements that are appropriate wherever he is. This one in Poland, it was so much about the history of Poland, the values of the Western world, and the mutual commitment. It was actually, I listened to many, you know, people that analyze the speech, and I actually looked at Ronald Reagan's speech again when he said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." And this is the nicest, most professional, proper speech by a president since Reagan's speech.
It's kind of a Reagan kind of call.
It was very Reaganist.
I feel
it was.
I feel kind of he's going that way. And there's also another thing that I mentioned that I really have to mention to my audience, that is that his demeanor has kind of changed a little bit. Shaped quite a bit, I would say.
He's not at war with the audience.
I know. I know. Back home when he was dealing with his campaign speeches, sometimes he went too crazy, too far with gestures and the notions and the eye contact or thing like that. And at that speech, he kind of like shaped himself.
Very presidential.
Very presidential.
Very leadership.
Just on my way in just now, this morning, I had lots of comment. I heard lots of comment about his presidential behavior.
Right.
The term they use, presidential behavior.
Yeah.
And the other commentator says, well, he behaved very presidentially.
Correct.
All right, those are positive.
With tremendous. No, look, the gentleman, Mr. Trump, is bright.
Especially for me,
he's bright, and
a
he's
man.
been a success.
Especially for me, a man from the old school.
Yeah.
I really prefer to see the old style.
But he had to,
quote unquote, as a president of the United States.
That's fine. But he also had to say what needs to be said, because he did.
Oh, that's a
he was
different
strong
issue.
on Russia in that
That's
speech.
a different issue.
And also,
like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan jokes around all the time.
Right. Well, Trump's pretty funny too.
Even when joking.
Right.
You look at the face.
He made a point. Yeah,
he made a point.
Right.
And he behaved like very presidentially, like that.
So this was a beautiful day.
From the Polish side, how do you comment on their response? Their audience, including audience.
It was incredible. And their leader, Duda, and his wife, Agra, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but it's like that.
Not Ara.
Yeah, we're very, you know, you could see good camaraderie between Duda and Trump. They were mutually respecting each other, and the people there were going crazy for our president. I love that. Okay, and also there were several Polish and British and a couple other countries survivors from World War II in Poland, the war in Poland, and the resistance that Polish had against the Nazis, particularly. And these men, I mean, you look at them and they've been through things you and I can't dream of, Jack, and they're still breathing. And Trump went and shook hands with all of them.
Okay. For quite some time, we kind of like hearing a lot of the saying in the Donald Trump term, "America first." Right.
And this speech was not that.
Yeah. And in this speech, you do not sense that quote, "America first."
No.
It is the world first.
It is the Western values.
Western value first,
right.
Some kind of
protecting ourselves.
Okay, now for a comparison to the to the juiciness of the word American first, and the factual stuff of he is putting the Western value first.
Yes, sir.
Do you think he is reshaping the American image also?
Well, what he is reshaping is he has reinvigorated American leadership. We are leading again, not from behind, but from in front. And so when he's wherever he is, this G20, he's a powerful force there. So are others. So are others that are powerful forces there. Putin, Merkel, a lot of others. But yeah, we are leading now, and also, we're really doing tremendous progress
And
against
also,
ISIS, big time.
Yeah, that's big time.
Big time.
And also for some time, for quite some time, with the backup of TPP,
Yes, sir.
and also with the criticism to NATO,
Yes, sir.
and the message kind of got out as Americans get tired, something like that.
Well,
Right.
we're just asking people to man up to what they're
And then
committed
now,
to.
and now versus the once upon a time of the Americans are tired impression. Do you think we're picking up a little bit on that?
Massively.
Yeah, massively.
We're back to we weren't respected the last 8 years because we weren't leading. Okay, many examples, but we won't waste our time on those. Right now, and also one of the most exciting things is our growing energy independence. Hallelujah for that. Okay. And we're going to be selling some natural gas and that to Europe, European areas that don't. And Russia's economy, for example, is very, very bleak right now because they're used to $60 to $80 a barrel oil, and now it's $40, and they have problems. So they're in a weakened position, and we're more in the leadership and strength of the economy position now.
In other words, for a while, U.S. is kind of out of the European Union.
Yes, sir.
And now we're kind of reinstall ourselves back in.
Yeah, we're not members of it, and the Brexit.
I know that we're
but
reinstall
Right.
our leadership.
right,
So we have a leadership there.
we do,
Right. And
Very
we're installing the leadership back then, back to your European Union.
and all over this world.
All right. Okay. Very good. That's very optimistic, my dear friend. Myself, I am very optimistic, and the situation looks optimistic too. And all
smiling.
due to President Donald Trump, lots of people confirm, and not me, not any single party. There are lots of people talking about Trump reshaping himself or getting better, while making the right approach. Today with me is my good friend Ken Hemming, a political commentator, CPA for life though. He
Yes,
is
sir.
very much a politician himself, and dead fast of a Republican.
The
He is
Constitution.
constitutional. Well, every time when I say that, he says constitutional. He's
I do.
very constitutional. All right. So the constitutional guy, can we take a little break and come back
Pretty please.
to be constitutional?
Yes, sir, we shall.
Very good. All right. So. Hello, my lovely audience, dear friends. Welcome back to the East-West Show. Jack Chow with the East-West with G&E TV. With me is my good friend, named Mr. Constitutional,
Yes, sir.
Ken Hemming, nickname. How
Yep.
about that?
I like
Yeah.
it.
Welcome back, sir,
I accept
Mr. Constitutional.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Ken Hemming is with me on this show for like 2 years at least, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Very nice.
tested friend over time, and his love for the community is well confirmed. And he is he's from, like me, he's from the old school, both
That's true.
and I,
That's
even though
true.
we argue a lot.
Right. Yeah.
So now, okay, the next move, we want to talk about the G20,
Yes.
and we especially want to address the meeting between Putin and Trump,
Yes, sir.
which was
Yes.
just wrapped.
Right.
Time when I was driving on the way to the office, it was almost wrapping up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now be over. So, what's your comment about it?
Well, it's the
I believe
highlight.
you heard the majority of it,
It's
right?
the highlight of the G20 conference. Everybody around the world wants to see what Putin and Trump, how they relate to each other, and can anything positive come out of it, or do they both come out disappointed and angry with each other? And I watched Putin and Trump sitting on white chairs, and I remember before the last time when Putin was with President Obama, he was sort of slumping back in the chair and looking rather disinterested. At this time, it was so great because they were both sitting on the edge of the front edge of the chair. They were both leaning forward. They shook hands about 4 times. Their heads were nodding up and not nodding that way.
I see.
And they were both kind of leaning forward to have a position of appearing to be more in control of the cameras. It was great.
That's important because that's the body language.
It was great.
The body language sometimes does speak a lot.
Their body language was very active.
Exactly. Remember Putin last time, no, it was not Putin, it was the Trump not shaking hands with Murdoch and then Merkel.
Well, I can't remember exactly if they did, but if I sort of remember that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it wasn't out of any disrespect.
There was
wasn't out of that.
There was a comment about it, whether it is a message or disrespect.
Yeah, and it was neither. It was neither. It was just the flow of the human movements at that time. The interesting handshake, though, was when he shook hands with Macron of France, and it looked like they were in a wrestling match because they kept going back and forth. It was funny, and it went on
one
longer
thing for
than
sure
normal.
that this time when they meet, Trump and Putin meet, their body languages speak a lot.
It was really good. It was perfect.
I like that.
Their meeting was scheduled for 30 minutes, and it went over 90, and you said over 2 hours.
2 hours.
So that's
2 hours.
that's huge.
They wrapped it up on the 2-hour mark.
Okay.
So it was stretched from originally 30 to 4 times the length.
Right.
Right.
Now we don't know if that's all
What
positive.
do you
or
think?
negative.
Let's give a little guess. What do you think they must have talked about?
Well, the real question is, did they talk at all about election, activities by the Russians?
Do you think
I don't
that's
think
still?
they did.
Do you think that's still a subject? If I were Trump,
I wouldn't
If
mention
I
it.
were Trump, I wouldn't mention.
Well, they talked
right?
about Syria.
If I were Putin, I wouldn't mention either because, unless you ask,
Yeah.
right? So, I don't think that could be even on the list.
I don't think they talked about it. They did, though. Supposedly, they've come to some sort of a ceasefire agreement in a certain area in Syria. If that's the truth,
You know why?
I hope
You know why I would bet that they have not talked about it.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Number one. Okay, good.
At this
That's a
point.
good point.
Yeah.
Right. Number one, the result was in Trump's favor anyway.
Well, in not one
Regardless.
vote, not one vote was changed.
No.
Right.
I'm saying that
Yeah.
To be logical,
Yeah.
the result of the election was in his favor anyway, right?
Yes.
Number two, why would you poke something that's already settled?
Right.
Already settled to stir it up,
Yeah.
to make it stink again? No.
Right. No, that's right. And for sure, they talked about North Korea.
Yeah, of course.
Syria.
Number three, according to my knowledge, there's no country not doing anything of that. There's
Right.
none.
No, everybody does.
Everybody does everybody, right?
Well, don't forget, President Obama went to England and told England that do not do Brexit, do not vote to get out of the European Union, or we'll put you to the back of the line in business transactions. He did,
All right,
and
okay,
also,
all right,
and he spent $400,000.
Let's talk about the logic.
On Israel, trying to get
just the
Netanyahu
logic
thrown out.
to analyze why they didn't mention that. They didn't talk about it.
Everybody's got spies.
You mentioned about the Korea issue,
Big time.
North Korea issue.
Big time.
And do you think? I mean, how do you think they would? From which angle?
Well,
From an angle of collaboration, or from an angle of this is what I want to do to North Korea, and what do you want to do in response?
the whole resolution or lack of resolution for the North Korea situation is really up to China. It's going to be what they do, because they can control the economy of North Korea. And actually, since they had said that they would, stop buying coal and things like that, trade has increased by 40%.
That's been stopped already.
but it hasn't actually. But in the trade from North Korea to China is up 40% in that time period.
Okay.
So I'm just hoping and praying that, because nobody wins by North Korea, by going to war with North Korea.
But the thing is
people
that
die. We will be safe in LA.
U.S., China, and Russia,
Right.
everybody plays a role, however, in his own way.
You
right?
could starve North Korea out with the cooperation
If you
of
kind
China.
of say, we, United States, trying to frighten them, say, hey, we want to shoot you, we want to strangle you, like that. And Russia says, okay, I will respond if you do that. And then they kind of on a tie.
Right.
And now here's a
Teeter-totter,
moment, a moment when China walks in and say, hey, okay, let's do it another way, right? You guys come down. Let me talk to him.
We have put some new restrictions on some Chinese banks, and kind of the whole ultimate thing is if America is trying to get all countries that are doing business with North Korea, and that we will refuse to do business with
to
them.
me, it's fair to say, I want to do this. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? It is unfair to say, hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, and I'll do this. It's not conducted that way.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure what exactly that means, but the bottom line is we will back up what we say we'll do. I know that because Trump's.
Yeah, of course. I myself wish we do something.
Right.
Right. Now that we can even get Bin Laden,
Right.
why nobody? Why not somebody else?
We could.
We could have done that.
We
right?
definitely could.
Or you could have done that.
Right.
So
you know, we've just got to hope, because they did have some sort of a success, 437 miles of an intercontinental ballistic missile that went in the China Sea, fell in the China Sea. And you know, it's to China's best interest too that North Korea doesn't start a war, you know, because so many would die.
I agree. I will agree very much so.
It's
that
in all of our interests.
that
and Japan's interest.
that is to everybody's interest.
Now, what a lot of people
You know
are
what?
saying.
If North Korea goes crazy,
Right.
things went out of bound, out of hand. I would say at least half of China, northeast China, will be kind of
Impacted.
facing a very devastating situation.
Right.
The earthquake,
And you know,
contamination.
One thing that's been recommended that I actually like the idea, but sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about, and is that if we put nuclear capabilities that we were controlling in Japan, that would have a huge impact on North Korea and China.
That's not my option. My option would be something, for example, now why would police officer in the contact with the suspect when he raises a gun to kill him at one shot, at the first shot, rather than to wound him? Because if you wound him, you leave the guy a chance to retaliate.
You are trained to kill. Shoot to kill. You never shoot to wound.
You're trained to kill.
Yeah.
Let's do the kill thing. Once you get killed, well, you can do nothing. Right? The rest you can't do. So now that's the only option. If we use our nuclear system or whatever to attack them, and you always leave a moment or chance of retaliation.
Sure. Well, we wouldn't really be.
And the consequences are serious.
We would never start with a nuclear attack.
Of course.
But North Korea has nuclear weapons, and they're working on the delivery systems.
Yeah, I know.
So, and we don't know how smart or crazy this guy, their leader, is.
That's rational thinking.
Right.
Okay. Well, you got to think in an unrational way, in a crazy way too, because you're facing a crazy guy.
I know that's exactly right.
And the best way to deal with a crazy guy is to handpick the guy.
Right.
Something
that's
like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
SEALs, our Navy SEALs could take them out.
They will do. And all they need is go ahead order, something like that, right? So, and other than that, you think the G20, any other points that you want to pick up?
Well, there's a lot of economic discussions going on, trade discussions going on. There was some, I don't know which countries just came together and had a rather major trade agreement, but Trump, likes to have one-on-one trade agreements. Us in Germany, us in England, us in France, us in whatever.
The radiation kind.
Yeah, right. Where it's kind of man to man or woman to woman or person to person, where it's just two parties making agreements. And they just took some action that, you know, involved many countries. But Trump will still negotiate, you know, one-on-one trade agreements. So
how about U.S. versus German?
Well, you know, I feel sorry for Germany. Okay?
I'm too. That's why I'm asking.
I feel sorry for Germany. I think their mistake of letting almost 1 million people in, 2% of their population.
That's 2% of their population.
Yeah, you know, with zero vetting, whatever, and it's been a disaster. And only like 5 to 8% of the people that.
But Merkel did it for a good wish, and a goodwill too. She's never intended to attack German economy.
Well, then she's very naive and very inadequate as a
she
leader.
will probably have been naive.
I don't think she'll be reelected or however she gets her, you know, because it's been a terrible burden on Germany.
But her naiveness,
the German people are not liking it.
Her naiveness is facing
it was foolish.
Serious consequences.
Very serious consequences for Germany. I vacationed in Berlin. I love it. I wouldn't go back. It's too dangerous with that many people that you don't know if they're good or bad.
2%, that's a huge number.
It's huge.
That's a huge number.
And the big deal is not many of them are working. So they're all eating off their welfare. And you know, you run out of money. You run out of money. Socialism around the world right now,
all right.
You know, it's just, anyway. Look at Venezuela.
All right, good. All right, so much for international. Let's see something domestic when we come back. With me today is my good friend, Mr. Constitutional, Ken Hemming. We're taking a little break and we'll be right back, please. Hello, my dear audiences. Welcome back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about our politics. However, we do it internationally, we do it domestically.
Yes.
With my friend Ken Hemming, a commentator and a philosophical set of mind, a man of a constitution.
Yes, sir.
We want to find out how Trump is doing realistically for the past a month or something, weeks and a month, at a time mark when he entered his half-year period in his presidency. Internationally, abroad, we found him, just confirmed that he did the wonderful things. Number one, with the Poland speech,
yes,
he
sir.
did quite so well. Number two, the meeting with Vladimir Putin was successful, and at least he got his attention.
He got his attention. Yeah, right, at least.
Good. And also over the issues of North Korea, I believe something is being cooked out.
We hope so.
Right, we trust
we need
that.
it.
All right. Domestically, what do you think are those issues that on top of the piles of Trump's desk?
On top of the piles that hadn't got to his desk yet is health care and tax reform. Now, here's the thing. The president can't pass laws. Okay, what he was able to do is get Justice Gorsuch appointed to the Supreme Court, which is tremendous. Maybe Justice Kennedy will retire to get, who's 81 years old, get a new young person in there, 50, 55 years old, that can be a conservative there for American values for 3 decades. But I'm so disappointed with the Republican, the split. At least they have positions they're taking in talking and trying to resolve them differences, but only the Congress can pass the law that goes to the president's desk. If people say Trump has failed because he hasn't got the health care done yet, he hasn't got the tax thing done yet, it's not his failure, it's the failure of Congress. He can't make it happen. He can encourage and cajole, but he can't make it happen.
Okay, let's be fair.
We got a big,
Let's be fair. My point, you recall that ever since you and I started the argument over the healthcare issue,
yes, sir.
My whole point was that when you prepare yourself to overturn something, you better have something in hand. Right?
Absolutely.
The
they
point
had 7
is
years to do it.
The point when you have nothing in hand and you are yet to overturn something, that's premature.
Well, they have
And
things
you're
in hands,
blaming
but they're
Congress.
different hands.
You're blaming Congress for not passing law. I mean, for it is in their power to pass law, which is true. But
They
in this issue, never applied.
They failed.
Because it's the Trump. Trump doesn't even have a plan.
Oh, that's not true.
So that's the problem.
That's not true.
Where's the plan? You tell me.
Well,
you show me. Where's the health care plan?
Well, they have different versions of it right now. That's the House passed the plan.
Of
the
course.
House passed the plan.
Okay.
And now the Senate's trying to,
Why
change
wouldn't
it.
the Senate pass the plan?
Well, because
that means our Congress is at work. It's working. It's functioning.
But it's
What's wrong with
but it's not functioning in a successful way.
Constitution
It's
by
failing.
Constitution invests the power of legislation to Congress, and the Congress is not working. What's wrong with it?
Well, it's failing. We don't have something for the president to sign. And he won't sign something if he thinks it's not.
Because
not
the
adequate.
thing the president provided is not signable.
The president does not provide the plan.
No,
the Congress
I mean the
provides
plan.
the plan
No.
with coordination
the plan
between each other.
The plan of health care to replace Obamacare.
It's not the president that sits down with a pencil and writes out the plan.
No. I'm taking President Trump as a token. I'm talking about the administration.
Right.
Right? Why wouldn't him and his administration have a plan ready before they say, I want to overturn?
Because they failed. They failed.
Who failed?
The Republican Party, the leadership of the Congress and the Senate has failed.
Okay.
They failed, and I'm
Republican
depressed
Party.
with that.
The Republican Party failed Trump.
Right.
Failed Trump. Okay.
Right. They have.
It might be
Because
Trump's
they're too
problem.
divided.
Might not be President Trump's problem. But
it's not his
the
fault.
Republican Party, they themselves divided.
They have failed.
And for that, nobody is going to blame Congress. Congress is out of work.
No, that is Congress. The Republican Party is Congress.
No, of course.
Of course it is.
All right.
So
when they are in majority control of both houses, why wouldn't they pass?
Because they failed. They have failed. They have failed.
Who failed? Congress. The structure of Congress.
No,
didn't
the people.
fail.
The people.
It is the people. The GOPs failed.
I said that. Yes.
Because they are divided.
Well, because there's very conservative.
GOP is not a Congress. Congress has the other half. No. The definition of Congress has the other half of the Democratic. The Democratic. Right?
Well,
you don't want to borrow the whole thing for GOP. GOP equals Congress. Congress equals GOP. No.
There's not one Democrat in Congress or the Senate breathing that will support anything that Donald Trump supports.
No.
Not one.
Okay. They have the right not to support. By Constitution, they have their party right not to support. Okay, they are doing their job as a right. They deserve that.
No, they're not doing their job, and here's the reason they're not doing their job. All they care about is destroying President Trump rather than working for something better for the people.
You're so good at giving definition to that.
Well,
I am talking about, no. Let me argue one thing.
Yes,
one thing, clarify
Yes,
the definition of Congress. You tell me how many houses in the Congress?
Well, there's 435 congressmen and 100 senators.
All right, good. And the House of Representatives and the House of Senate.
Yes, sir.
They together form the structure of Congress,
Right.
which is the legislative part.
Right.
Right? Okay, now, the legislative part, be it Representative House, be it as the Senate House, they are consisted of two partisanship. Am I right?
Of course.
Okay, now, when you want to borrow the term of Congress, better be careful because Congress includes the Democratic Party.
Which is the party of obstruction
That's,
right now.
No. That's the other issue.
Right.
All right.
It is, yeah.
Don't shift the foundation. We're talking about the definition. Definition is, for example, the show. Right? You and I. All right, that's the show. That's when you talk about show. If you talk about part of the show, you can say Ken of the show, you can say Jack of the show, all right? Now, it is not the show, it is Ken and Jack. Now that Ken himself part of can fill the presidency with their proposals. Okay, that's not a congressional problem.
Well, it is the Congress.
No.
Well, okay, whatever.
No, come on.
Let's just let that rest. But in my life, Jack, I have had the pleasure of watching bipartisanship work together. Democrats and Republicans work together. For example,
Me too.
President Clinton with Newt Gingrich, they work together, okay?
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan, John Kennedy, they all
sure,
worked together. They were
sure.
able to entice other people from the other party to work together and come up with something they mutually agreed was a good thing for the people of America. Now it's impossible to get one Democrat
Working together is a result of both efforts pushing opposite ways, right?
Well,
and walking together
actually
is not
in the same direction for the people.
I know. When I say pushing the different ways,
Yeah.
mean that I walk to you, I walk towards you, you walk towards me.
Sure.
This way.
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
now. It
doesn't exist
is
anymore.
not a result of blaming each other. It is not a result by pointing finger at each other. Right? So especially we are at the moment pointing middle finger, not even this index finger.
That's
all
right, my friend.
That is serious. That's very serious.
Right.
Okay, now it is not a climate for collaboration. Nobody will capitulate into that situation. It takes time. Given time, things will change. However, once again, I want to say to my audience also that the term Congress is neutral.
Well, whatever. But here's the deal. Right now, both parties, Republicans and Democrats, you know, we've had this elite control groups that have been controlling the country for a long time, both sides, okay? Right now, President Trump comes in and he's cleaning the swamp out. He wants to clean the swamp out because too big of a government, everybody knows this in simple terms.
He wish.
Too big, and he's fighting as hard
He
as
wish.
he can. And
If
so
I
the
were
Republicans are just
if
as
I were
obstructive.
if I were him, I would clean up their own mess.
Well, he's
All
trying.
right?
That's what he's working on.
He's now being challenged by the other schools, the opposite schools of his own party.
Well, absolutely,
Right.
and that's because they want to retain their power just like the Democrats do.
All right, sure, of course.
So, and that's wrong because they're
First,
losing the fact
first
they
you
work
wanna,
for you,
first you
for
wanna,
our people.
First, you want to unify your own party, make it a party, make it a consistent one ideology before you can approach.
The party's pretty
Or
unified, but people in
or
the
otherwise,
party.
your baby always die in the cradle.
Well, I tell you, if the Congress, if the people, and it's only up to the Republicans in the Congress, Senate, because there's no help on the other side. Don't get this done, and don't get
Now
tax
back to the
reform done.
point. Now back to the point. Now back to the point that the fact that Donald Trump, the Trump health care plan, is not passed in the Senate, is not due to failure of Congress.
See,
Congress has no failure in this case. All right.
well, of course they do. They failed. The
come
people in
on.
Congress. Well, of course it has.
Come on.
But here's the
come
thing.
on. No.
Of course.
Once again, you're going back to the state. Come on, my dear Ken.
Yeah.
How come?
Congress
All right.
is
How about let's pass?
Okay.
How about that?
next.
All right, next. Oh my God.
Like the barber says,
All right,
next.
good. Oh my dear friends, I have a good friend, but so stubborn to convince
No, not
that
really.
repeatedly I said Congress has two things, and it consists of two parts. All right, so you're not blaming Congress for your own failure. All right, let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue finding tax reform.
We need it.
All right, so please, we'll be right back. Hello, my friends, my dear lovely audience. Welcome back to the show. Check Chow on East West with G&E TV. With me today is my stubborn friend and
And constitutionalist.
hard to convince friend, claimed to be constitutional,
Knucklehead.
who blames the Congress for one party's own failure. Anyway, Ken Hemming, right?
Love to
Welcome
be
back to the show.
I love your viewers so much, Jeff.
And as you now, as a viewer, you're a viewers too.
Oh yes.
Your own viewer. Right?
Ours. We're blessed. We're blessed.
Very good. Let the differences remain. Let's move on.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay, that's always a smart way to do. How do you comment about tax reform?
Well, here's the thing. Tax reform, which should end up in lowering individual and corporate rates on people, probably eliminating a lot of deductions, but still a very positive stimulation, okay? The good thing, just one thing that's come out recently within the last couple of days, is people are now leaving their job to get a better paying job. It's been a stagnant economy that way for years now, and that's exciting. And so there is job growth, but also job growth in not just in numbers, but in income. That's very exciting. And so there's a lot of companies that are bringing more people into America to work here. And a lot of it's on waiting for the tax reform. But even with the tax reform not here yet, there is belief and there is, new agreements, new opportunities for companies to grow even without the new tax reform. So when it hits, it's going to hit the fan, as they say, and it's going to be real good. And it will happen because it has to happen. I just have, you can call me an optimist, and I accept that. But I'm a realist too, because there's challenges, but it has to happen, and I think when push comes to shove, something will come through. They probably won't be at a 15% rate, maybe it'll be 20, 25, but like right now when it's 39.5%, 0.6%, and it comes down like that, it's money in the hands of people like you and I that allows them, and it's, all the opposition to all this is that, it's just helping the rich. Well, it's not helping the rich. The rich aren't going to have as much benefit as the middle class, and then we need to somehow help the lower class move up to the middle class, which is the American dream.
Once again, the administration has the same problem like healthcare. They have to convince themselves.
Right.
They have to come to to be consistent with their own party, with a unique concept. Now that they find this war domestically, agreeing, not agreeing to each other, so nothing could be produced as a bill for the Congress to pass.
For some reason, and I don't understand the depth of it all, but they kind of think you've got to get the healthcare thing done before the tax. But I don't think you have to either. Even if you just got the individual rates lowered, it would just explode in our economy. You get the corporate rates lowered, it will explode.
What's happening now is the impasse.
Right.
What's happening now, in my eye, is the impasse, because during this impasse period, nothing could be done.
But hopefully this year it will all be
impasse
done.
in two folds, right? It's impasse in two folds. It's impasse in between two sides of GOP party.
Yes, sir.
And then there's another bigger impasse between the Democratic Party and the GOP party.
That's an impasse. That's
impasse.
The wall's been built.
That's impasse.
No one
and
can get
then
through.
Congress says, okay, I'm waiting for something to vote, right? And the Congress, the president said, okay, you guys vote and I'll sign.
Correct.
All right. And it goes back, president say, hey, give me something to propose. Right. And they will not give them because of the impasse.
Because of their stubbornness.
And it goes in a rotation.
And anybody that expects any law ever passed has been perfect is a fool. Nothing's perfect. So somehow it's a process. Get this passed, get whatever the best thing we can do, they can conceive of passed, and then you can amend it over time when you see things that can improve it.
Even Constitution.
But nothing's
Constitution has been amended for 27 times.
Correct.
That means at the birth, Constitution was not even perfect.
Yeah, nothing's perfect.
Let alone somebody else, right? And to stretch that to somebody who claims to be constitutional, and this very person sometimes is not perfect also.
Well, I'm a very imperfect person. But the Constitution, I'm a mistake. My parents said so too. But it's, the Constitution, but it's, just like the Magna Carta, it's the closest thing we've come to creating a country of true opportunity, true freedom, and we're there, and we're trying to protect it now. So God bless America, and let's just keep fighting for our values, the Western values like Trump
But one
did.
thing for sure that you and I, we both confirmed, it is time of impasse.
But yes,
A big way.
Between the parties, total impasse.
Two folds.
Within the Republican Party, there's actually three groups in there: the very conservative, kind of the moderates, and there's a lot of Republicans that are pretty close to a progressive
minor
Democrat.
to even mention.
There's a lot of Republicans that are pretty close to being a Democrat in terms of progressive thoughts, which I'm not a progressive
Well, that's
person.
not my problem.
Well, it's ours as citizens.
My problem is that I can hardly understand why these guys will play the way they play.
Because
That's the
they're
problem.
still power hungry, and
Everybody is. Everybody is.
Well,
Everybody
you're not.
is.
I'm not. I mean, those people though, they
Don't
just
you
forget they work for
Don't you
us.
think the impasse itself is the beauty of a democracy that prevents
Yes.
anybody going too far?
That's correct. That's why we have checks and
All
balances.
right, okay.
And I love your
I
understanding
I
of it.
appreciate
love your
the
understanding of
fact
that, Jack.
that you confirmed that.
Totally.
So I even like the fact that we have an impasse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, during the impassing period, people are learning.
Right.
People are thinking, why are we seeing what we're seeing? And then people are shaping. For example, if version number 1 did not pass, let's do version 2, version 3,
Right.
version 4, goes on
they're
and on
doing
and
that.
on. The going from version to version is a process of improving.
And one thing I completely disagree with the activities of Congress is that is they take a month break, a summer break. They should be there working every day, 12 hours, whatever, till they get to something. Because I think that's what they should do.
Right? Even that is voted.
Yeah, right.
Even that is voted.
Right.
So if
They were encouraged not to go.
If they cast their vote that way,
Yeah.
well, we got nothing to say.
And don't forget, the Congress, okay, they don't even function under the healthcare system they passed for America. That's ridiculous. They have their own special one, which is way too generous. And also, they vote themselves raises. I don't approve of that.
Well,
But
anyway,
what it
that's
is.
Congress. That's Congress, okay?
Right.
Once you
I wanna
confirm
clean that
the
swamp.
structure of a Congress by Constitution, it is very constitutional, and then let it function as a Congress,
Right.
right? As how each party will handle their own messes, that's their own problem. Again,
I think the people should vote for a raise
and
or no raise.
above all, President Trump, who is the one that we pinhope on,
Yes, sir.
is reestablishing the American image,
Yes, the
both
dream.
both domestic and abroad,
Yes, sir.
internationally.
You're exactly right.
right?
And we're
So,
happy.
then we're happy.
We're happy.
We're happy. So nothing to complain of.
No, just more hope. That's all.
More hope.
Yeah,
More
desires.
hope. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. So one last thing, let me check with
Yes,
you.
sir.
So you want to come back to the fact of, I have a little bit time left.
Okay.
Ted Cruz
Yes.
recommendation
See, on the
or
healthcare
proposal.
thing, this is interesting because
That's interesting.
Ted Cruz is a very, very, very smart man,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also pretty obstructionist sometimes, very stubborn because he's a very dramatic conservative.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
That's-
he's more stubborn than you?
Yes, way more.
He is. He is?
100%. Yeah.
Oh
Right.
my God! I thought you
But-
were the
but what he has
the most.
recommended as a modification to the healthcare plan that
Mm-hmm.
I would think would pass beautifully is that insurance companies be allowed to sell any kind of healthcare plan they want as
Mm-hmm.
long as one of them still gives the people a plan that's compatible, which is I think a disaster with the current Obamacare thing. So if people wanted to stay there, fine. Okay. Now, there's not going to be people really wanting to sell that
Something
plan.
sounds- something could be
the price will be
compromised.
very high. But it's perfect, so it could sort of calm down people that worship Obamacare, which is a total failure, designed to fail, to get a one-payer plan, to put people health under the
Now,
control of
according to
gut
Ted
citizen
Cruz's
government.
proposal,
I
you could
like
still stay in the pot.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, so
and
that could
gives
be one.
an amicable
Right.
bargaining chip.
No, I think so. And you get rid of the mandate where everybody, look, I think you don't. I don't want to force people to have insurance. I don't force you to get a driver's license, okay? And then also, there are many taxes in Obamacare that really a lot. Those have been. They are being eliminated in whatever plan does come together. But if you left that in there, you go, okay. If you like your Obamacare thing, if any company is willing to sell them at their own premium, they can make the premium, which will be higher than all the other things they sell. But if you want that, you can buy it.
Okay.
No problem. I like it. And yet a lot of Republicans are resisting that, which I don't know why, because they're stubborn about Obamacare.
Could be something in the middle.
I like it. I like it. I like
so
it.
that probably both Republican and Democratic would accept, or would at least come close.
Well, yeah, it might satisfy some Democrats. You get a couple Democrat votes, that'll help a lot.
Yeah, all right.
And also, and I never used it myself, I never used the term Trump care because I use the term citizen care. It's all about our citizens.
That's okay.
Trump
the majority
means nothing.
The majority refers it as Trump care. It's okay.
And I'm a minority because I disavow that.
You do what you want to do.
I will.
I call
citizen
it Trump care.
Okay.
I call it Trump care.
Okay.
Okay. My dear friends, my lovely audiences, as you can see, how not stubborn he is, right?
No, I'm flexible.
Okay, very good. How constitutional he is. My dear friend Ken Hemming is with me. We're talking about Donald Trump, both domestically and internationally, home and abroad. So lots of good things to hang on to, and we start to see some twilight, even in the time of impasse.
That's right, some twilight.
Right, twilight.
Thank you, Jack.
So stay with us.
Thank you.